Also, I'm not sure why GDQ put this in the silly block. I'm just assuming that was some sort of oversight, but whatever. I'm just glad this is in the marathon. So we're going to play as Ruby Diamond's the speed character. Not very strong, but pretty versatile for some of the combos we're going to pull off. And we're going to start in 3.
Ну, чё не рассказывать. Топовая игра. Мы выбрали рейд, медиум сложность и персонажа Руби Даймонд. И вот, нам надо... Мы делаем вертушку, чтобы быстрее двигаться. И пока мы не уничтожим всех врагов здесь, мы не сможем перейти в следующую часть. Здесь есть 3 линии. Вот. Ближняя, дальняя и средняя. На ней враги появляются. И нам надо бы их собрать в одну линию, чтобы бить сразу по всем. Но можем также использовать фьюри, который бьет по площади. По всем линиям. Вот так. И здесь вот мы сейчас могли видеть технику бесконечную. Можно было набивать комбо, пока противник не умрет. Это можно использовать также и на боссах. Работает вполне себе. Больше тут, в общем-то, ничего нет. Вот, в 2015 году ее сделали. Руби это довольно не самый сильный персонаж, но довольно быстрый. So for this, I need to defeat a certain amount of enemies before the boss will appear. And let's see, this guy should do it. There it goes. Now I'm gonna go for the riskiest stretch on all these bosses. Раннер говорит, что ему надо определенное количество врагов победить, чтобы появился босс. И вот он появился. И вот мы его, как сказать, стратку использовали. Вот, мы его подкидываем, дальше удар, 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 снова подкидываем, и так можно бесконечное комбо набивать. И еще, что нам надо, так нам надо все равно в правой части оказаться, чтобы пройти дальше. Мы стараемся победить босса как можно ближе к выходу. Вот такой есть оптимизация.
They're also pretty annoying because they can interrupt your juggles. And it's going to be more of the same for a little bit, so if you got any donations, fire away.
Yeah, we've got that.
Сюжет, конечно, очень крутой, если вам интересно. Париж пал, и банды захватили, распространили свою власть на улицу. И чтобы спасти положение, пришел боец из Лос-Анджелеса. И это мы. Да, некоторые враги между собой месяц. Да.
Thank you, GDQ crew and runners, for making the marathon a reality in these trying times. Congratulations to Revolution for getting into GDQ after all, deservedly so. Good luck and dread not.
So for that parry that just happened, that's an automatic parry that the game does as a tutorial. However, I had to go slowly into that, because if I do 2 dashes, I'll actually go too fast. The tutorial won't trigger and the enemy will just attack you normally. Usually you can get a double parry on these guys, but one of them was a little late, so the timing didn't quite work out. I'm still pretty bad at parries in this game, because the timing on them is really tight. You have to be within about a quarter of a second, and then if you miss it, you're completely vulnerable to any enemy attacks. Also, before I forget, I need to give a shout out to Jordi Asensio, one of the developers at Guard Crush, who worked on this, and also plays 4 to 5 different characters throughout the game, including that one, I believe. A lot of the people who did the mocap for this game were like friends and family of some of the developers. Like Jordi's sister is in this. There's another relative of his that's in the game, but I'm not going to mention it because it's kind of a spoiler for the ending. So I kind of glossed over this attack I'm doing where I slam into the ground and an explosion happens.
Ну, раннер говорит, что вот эти модельки — это семья и друзья разработчика. Да, звуки здесь очень классные.
Enemy spawn points are usually pretty set in stone, but sometimes enemy movement patterns are a little up in the air. So you'll often hope that you get certain enemies to like group up, but it doesn't always work out. Okay, got the double parry. You broke my guard, but that is okay. And we should be in good shape heading to the next area. I try to have like at least 2 Furies.
Тут страта, как я уже сказал, собрать всех вместе, либо делать фьюри по всем, либо просто бить.
And what I'm doing right now is, because this boss works a little differently, he is going to stay blocking. And he is only going to let go of his block if you knock him out of it. The catch is he has a ridiculous amount of stamina. And this is getting a little out of control. There. What I'm trying to do is free up enough of my allied units, because this is one of the few times that they are really useful. So let's get some of these other enemies away from the boss. And then push him toward my allies. All right. Now that everybody is attacking the boss, his stamina should drain significantly faster.
Вот эти вот зеленые противники, они вполне с другими врагами тоже дерутся. А сейчас мы сбиваем стамину боссу, чтобы снять его блок. И мы в катсцене убегаем вправо.
The boss, when he's far enough to the left of the screen, section cleared will appear immediately, and you save a couple of seconds on the transition to the next area. And now welcome to my least favorite part of this run. This area has a lower ceiling, so it means that I can't do like most of the air juggles that I use throughout the run. So instead, I have to improvise a bit. And this is another good time if you have any donations.
We've got Pseudo Design donating $50, saying, always excited to see the fastest block in the fastest charity event out there. Good luck to the runners and keep that support for MSF coming. We've also got $25 from Osman saying, thanks to all the runners, hosts, and tech crew, and everyone else involved in making this great event a pleasure to watch. Donation goes to Tech Crew's Choice.
Shouts to the tech crew, by the way. This game was a little problematic to set up because of the audio channels that it outputs to. So I'm wearing earbuds, and I'm also wearing headphones over the earbuds to make this stream work. Oh wow, they all spawned on the same track. That almost never happens for me. Okay, I gotta back off and then back in.
Вот ему прям повезло, что все на одной линии появились.
So in order to get all those guys at once, you have to do a quadruple parry.
Не получилось.
It's rare, but it is possible. The reason I'm not using the Fury against those guys is Ruby jumps in the air for her Fury. And if you jump in the air against those guys, they'll jump in the air and then immediately smack you with a wrench and just completely void your attack. Now, these enemies are actually helping out by breaking his guard for me, and I'm going to repay them with a quick knockout. It's very important as I go through this area that I make sure I end it.
Но это и битэмап, и файтинг вместе. Ну, если так посмотреть, то это вроде как битэмап, но на самом деле здесь боевая система довольно похожа на файтинг. Куча комбо в воздухе и так далее. Те же фури, тут у каждого персонажа 3 разных фьюри. Здесь мы видим только одно, потому что оно самое эффективное и быстрое.
Well, that enemy just completely messed up my strategy, and now it's.
Надо следить постоянно за стаминой. Ну как тут довольно сложно увидеть ее, когда столько врагов нас окружает.
And then be able to separate him from the group, lock him in the parry state. Like so.
Ну, это Париж, кто знает, какого роста там люди.
And there's something else I'm hoping does not happen, because it could cause me to lose like a few extra seconds. Okay, good. So the yellow enemies can get stuck in a ducking animation, and it will cause them to not die once the level ends. So you have to waste time to go back, make sure they're knocked out, and then go to the end level flag. Oh wow, they were actually polite this time. I think I only had one practice run where all 3 of those enemies actually jumped into the same track.
Вот опять ему повезло с 3 на одной линии. Ну, ранее сказал, что не всех врагов обязательно бить, чтобы дальше пройти. В месте, где босс. Тут уже пошли ребята с огнестрелом.
these are some of my least favorite units in the game. So what they'll do is, if you try to attack them regularly, they will hit you with a counterattack and send you flying across the screen. So my solution to that is to use the Fury while I'm one track over. And this guy just refuses to go down.
Вот эти враги, они будут парировать обычные атаки
So this is
и
usually
пинать,
one of the
поэтому
areas
мы
where
их
I can
либо
lose a
за
bunch of
спину
time,
и
just
бьем,
based on what the
либо
enemies decide to
Фьюри.
do. Because they'll tend to spawn in like the far side tracks, and then if they don't happen to move toward you, you have to chase them down and knock them out. Now I gotta be careful here. I want to go into the next area with at least one Fury. Okay, that will work. Alright, this is a little inconsistent, but I'm going for it. Yes, got the double parry. Alright, now I'm going to just do this for like half of the areas under here, because it serves as a good setup for grouping these enemies together. Now it's possible to interrupt this cutscene and make sure that the ally lives. However, the ally has such little health that it's not really worth going for. He'll just die immediately once he gets hit like on the next screen.
Тут можно было спасти союзника, но он все равно бы умер с одной тычки.
I was hoping he wouldn't block. Okay, this is the screen
Мина
right before the
кончилась.
boss, so I'm going to be a little stingy about my Fury use. I'm gonna hold on to one and then just farm these enemies for the last one. Didn't quite get it. You can continue to juggle enemies to farm an extra Fury, but they will eventually
Следующий экран с
explode.
боссом.
Okay, I'm gonna go for a strategy here.
Да.
Oh, of course they would. So ideally, you could immediately lock the boss into a parry state. However, the blue units have a bad habit of interrupting what you're trying to do. That's okay. We still made it work. For this, if you hear the lyrics start for the... Wow, I don't know why he jumped.
Хороший босс. Файт.
If you hear the lyrics start for the background music, that's usually an indication that your fight was kind of slow. And that is going to bring us into the final area. These guys function a lot like the headphone guys, except instead of being able to just make them turn a different color and then don't have to worry about getting countered, these guys will counter your regular attacks regardless of what state they're in. And this is the enemy that parry training features. Parrying is so important in this game that it has its own separate training module. And this is the enemy they use to teach to you. And that is precisely why you want to be able to parry those attacks.
Этих врагов нужно
That
парировать.
can cause you to just freeze in place for a moment. And not to get too far ahead of myself, but if that happens against the boss, I am in major trouble. And this is actually a pretty good time for more donations if you have them.
Sure thing.
Ну да.
Dragon donates $10 saying, "Hey GDQ, Thanks for making an outstanding
Париж,
event
он
happen,
такой.
even if it had to happen differently this year. Funding medical help all around the world is more important than ever, and I'm glad I could be part of it.
Не, игра выглядит классно. Ну, на вечерок
And in a similar vein, we've
потыкать.
got Z249,
Даже
who
хочется.
donates $250, saying so
Но,
glad that we're able to keep
да.
this event going despite the
250
pandemic.
рублей
We
это
need stuff like this
250
now
рублей,
more
как
than ever.
говорится.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm making absolutely sure I have maximum furies going into this. I'm gonna try something risky with this boss. I'm gonna try for a parry, like on the very first attack he does, and if I don't get it, this could get
Следующий
a little
будет босс.
chaotic.
Это Big
Okay,
Boss.
he did the wrong attack, so this is going to be a major problem. Okay, we avoided getting frozen in time, so got that going for us. Okay, I've kind of got him separated from the other units, which is good. Yeah, this is exactly why you don't want that to happen. Okay. Now, unlike the previous stages, this is just going to go immediately into another boss. And I'm pretty sure
Вот
that
мы
unit has
прибили
the longest
белого
death animation in the game.
самурая.
You can save time by making sure there are no enemies left, or
Теперь
that they're knocked
финальный
into
босс
the
должен
air
быть.
at the time that the boss completely fades out, but it's pretty tough to get that down consistently.
Вот он,
Thought I had the
Big
parry for
Boss.
So ideally, you would get these guys to like all jump into the same track, and then you can just take care of all of them at once. But you know what? This is the next best thing. I'm okay with this. Now, as this is going on, the main boss is there in the background, but you can't damage him yet. So you have to take care of these flunkies first. Now I'm gonna try and bait him into doing like a certain attack. There he goes. This is another boss where it's
Вот после
critical to get that parry state going. I also kept him toward the middle of the map.
как мы закончили
so
с
it cuts down on
прихвостнями,
the amount of time he's walking to one
теперь
side.
можно бить и самого босса.
Ah,
Этот босс призывает своих теней,
I'm trying to get him to do that fire attack again, but he very
но
rudely
их, в
interrupted it
общем-то, не
before.
обязательно бить. Но они будут очень мешать.
Ah, that's okay. You have a 6 continues. So let's try this again.
Ой-ой-ой,
There it goes.
все. Проиграл. Эх,
Man, these shadows are
Фьюри
really playing
потерялся.
nice today.
Печально.
By the way, the spoiler I mentioned before, say hello to Jordi Asensio's dad.
Хорошо, что у нас есть континуум.
So, time is coming up. And
Может и батя. Ну, кто-то из его семьи точно. Может, даже он сам. Чё бы нет. И время. Ну, залажал на
so
последнем
Streets of
боссе.
Fury, it's a
Бывает.
fun little beat 'em up. It's billed as easy to get into, but difficult to master, and I think it fits that bill. And now that the main speedrun is done, it's time to speedrun my shoutouts. Shoutouts to Sent and Humphrey on the GDQ staff who spent literally hours trying to get the sound to
Да,
work properly
игра
on stream.
довольно
Devdus
веселая.
43 and Tetsuo 9999 who
Легко
really
начать,
did a lot of the
и
legwork for the speedrun, and Devdus,
сложно стать
he's like so good at
хорошим в
speedruns, I'm
этой
convinced he
игре.
could just sweep the
Так что
categories
да.
if he really wanted. Runners who got me into speedrunning, Funk Doc, Murphigator, Bonesaw 577, Bass Boost, Half Coordinated, and then everybody else. My fiance, who is currently asleep in the other room, my cousin Melissa, because cancer can't keep you down, Kevin Love, Buckeye Speed Bash, Midwest Speed Fest, Racing to Help, Orange Cassidy, Mr. Creepypasta, Cheese Soda Punch, Homie D Clown, Jeremiah Isaiah, Bring Bloody Roar Back, my friends at River City Gamers, and everybody at the Guard Crush team. And that will do it for me.
общем, если кто хочет, можете